I pledge allegiance to the flag.
Recording in progress.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Introduction of the board.
Marie Julie, Arjun Salvador.
DJ Anderson. Brandy Carmen. No agenda revisions this evening. Approval of the board minutes from the budget committee workshop of April 3rd.
I said when we approve the budget committee workshop minutes. Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the board minutes from April 10th.
I so move, we approve the ordinance April 10th.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Student representative reports. Sierra?
Hi everyone, I'm Sierra Tao. I'm a student here, I'm a sophomore here at City High School. This is my second year doing leadership. First of all, thank you for the opportunity for giving me to share an update from student leadership. So recently we just hosted our Dornbecker fundraiser a few weeks ago. We had 12 seniors participate, and between individual fundraising and ticket sales for the event and a miracle minute, we raised a total of $10,701. Our next big event is our junior/senior prom that's happening this weekend at the Abernathy Center in Oregon City. Our theme is Enchanted Gardens. We have already sold 400 tickets, and students still have 2 more days to buy prom tickets. And another update is that we have our 8th grade family night happening this Wednesday from 6 to 8. This is a great opportunity for upcoming freshmen to kind of visually see our clubs here at Sandy High School and our sports and activities that we offer. And also, and most importantly, it's a chance to meet your counselors and go over your graduation requirements and 4-year plannings. And recently, our drama department just wrapped up its final weekend of Cinderella. Christina Maroney, Alec Chase, and Rob McLaughlin did such an amazing job leading the production. And this week is Teacher Appreciation Week. So us students, we look forward to appreciating our teachers, our classified and unclassified staff as well. And that's it. That's all for our updates. Thank you.
Thank you. I know the FFA was unloading the bus when I got back, and I guess we got first in Ag Communications at State in Corvallis today. So, Superintendent,
Thank you. Yeah, I first one just want to start off by really thanking our teachers, our staff overall for the tremendous work that they've done this year. They've done through an immensely difficult time, the past 3 years, and then at the very least for the last 13 years that I've been in this spot, we've seen I think an improvement in just the quality of teaching. We've seen our kids actually be advantaged by that on many levels. Many examples of students going to college starting as juniors, offsetting $70,000, $80,000 in costs for their families. It's a testament to what our teachers do K through 12. So in honor of Teacher Appreciation Week, just want to give a shout out to them first. The next thing is that if you like plants, I think most of us do, our FFA plant sale is happening. DJ, go buy some plants.
Well, somebody will.
We've got that. We've got those dates on our website. Ms. Dorn, do you know the exact dates for that sale?
I know it started last
Right.
weekend.
Started Friday.
Yep. And if you just email her, then she will give you a special feeling and special vibe. Perfect.
Mrs. Dorn, when you say her, who is her?
Mrs. Smith.
Thank you. Tricia Smith can be.
Friday and Saturday, Friday, I think it's 3:30 to 6:30, and Saturday was 10:30 to 6:30, but that's from memory from what I read, so don't quote me.
Yeah, and like she said, she will definitely, thank you. She will definitely let you, if you email her, she wants to sell plants for the kids. She'll definitely let you in. She'll give you a little tour. 10 to 3 on Saturday, 3:30 to 6:30 on Friday. So.
Where?
Right here, Byron, at the top of the Byron Ball Environmental Trail, our greenhouse.
Okay.
Fire lane, south side of the building.
All the signs.
All the signs. Yeah, so good things. So there was some conversation a few board meetings back about some legislation, a statement of economic interest that board members are going to have to fill out. The Oregon School Boards Association has been trying to do something to mitigate the necessity to fill that out if you want to remain active on a board. So far to no avail. There is some proposed change of legislation. Unfortunately, it wouldn't impact districts with students that have more than 4,000 students. So it would be 4,000 students and under. In Malheur County, I believe all 5 of their board members resigned last month, before. So there is a lot of pressure on the state to make that change. I don't really like to make too many qualifying statements. I don't personally understand the law and the necessity for it for board members, but maybe I'm not smart enough to figure that one out. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me necessarily, and especially if you're in a spot like Malheur County and you're a business person and you're doing business with every other person in town, right? Because that's kind of what we do. Puts you in a bit of a predicament, and so. I don't blame them. I got friends that are on school boards in other counties where they have less than 4,000 students and they're pushing hard for that. Some folks might not mind. Fair enough. I have to do it every year. I don't have a choice. So I just steer clear of doing business with anybody, really, any of you specifically. But it's invasive on some fronts, right? And there might be people that have business interests that are, if they're revealed, might compromise their business interests, quite frankly. And so OSBA hasn't really asked us to do anything about it. COSA hasn't asked us to do anything about it, but it's out there. I wanted to bring it back to your attention because I know there were some concerns from our board about what that means. So as of right now, moving forward, that will be a regulation that board members have to fulfill in order to serve their terms on the board. What's that, DJ?
I said that was my final straw.
Oh, yeah. And I think, again, there was a statement in Malheur County. I believe, I don't want to misquote that, but I think if I'm wrong about Malheur, please correct me. But their whole board was just a turnover as a result of it. So, and on another note, budget committee approved the budget. So that doesn't necessarily mean that all is said and done in budget land, right? This still has to be voted on. Legislators still have to finalize their numbers. Right now it's at 9.9 billion. We're budgeting at 9.9 billion. There are some folks that are across the state that are budgeting and planning at 10.3. Why is that important? Because if you budget at 10.3, which is the number that the our business association put out collectively, then you show a greater discrepancy in the funds that you have on the ground. And there's some potential for legislators to see that and say, okay, we get it. We will offer up some more funding. Within that dialogue, there are some representatives that are communicating with school districts and asking them if they can hold course on less than 9.9. And so I think to the number everybody has said no. I believe that 9.9 will be the final number. I don't know if Tim has a different perspective on that. I just don't see, short of financially compromising like entire systems that we've had in place for a long time to keep us on a modest trajectory as a state. I don't see them going to 10.3. And quite frankly, I don't know that it's in the state's best interest to do that. Just from an economic perspective. As a district, we're going to be just fine, given this budget. As long as I don't see Tim sweating bullets, then right? And that's really not a popular comment to make, I suppose, right now during this time, especially given where a good majority of our districts are and what our professional organization would like for us to, the way they like for us to posture. It's just our reality that we budget in such a fashion that typically the state's allocation for us doesn't make us look at it and say, holy smokes, the sky is falling. Now, if they take the measures that some think they should take at 10.3, we could very easily be in that situation. Right? And I say that against our own personal interests, because for every 100 million, that's about $350,000 to our school district. So if you go from 9.9 to 10.3, that's $400 million, right? So that's a good chunk of money for us. However, I still am a firm believer that districts should be the best stewards of the public's dollar as possible. And it's our charge to make sure that those investments in public ed are executed in a fashion that we don't bankrupt the school district. So that's how we do. And let me finish again with FFA, buy some plants, because those kids work hard. There have been years when they don't sell them all. Then you can go to Garen's and buy them at Garen's, because usually at Garen's they sell the leftovers. So you know where Garen's is? It's the big elephant with their red bulb on it. But I encourage you to do everything you can to invest in our kids. And this is one of those things. Mother's Day is Sunday. So if you don't yet have a gift, DJ, go get 3. Okay? All right.
Okay, we're gonna give you a loan.
I'll float you some. Yeah. All right.
Any questions for Aaron? Moving on to the citizens agenda, Josh Fox. Great. Very nice.
Evening. I have come here many a times and spoke many a times on the school having books in the libraries that were inappropriate for children. And last meeting, I was brought to my attention the way I was approaching it may not be exactly the right way. So I'm trying to go about this another way now. To not put the strain on the school district or anybody else to do this, I would request that we start an advisory committee that is inside the policies, within the board's policies already, that we could do this. And I will take the time to be part of that committee, to go through all of the books with the approval of the board, to verify all that information so that we don't have to put that on the school district or the schools. So I would ask that the board approve a advisory committee to verify some library books upon a list that I provided to the superintendent at another meeting, so that we could look into all this, maybe knock this out of the way and move on.
Appreciate this and we will review it.
So according to our policies also, we're also bound to Robert's Rules of Order. And upon Robert's Rules of Order, an advisory committee would be something. We have a quorum here tonight. We could approve this tonight.
We could approve it tonight, but we'd like time to review it and have it on the agenda for the public to know what's coming.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Appreciate you guys' time.
Certified staff update.
Hello,
Hello, my name is Mackenzie Woodcock. I am one of the co-vice presidents of the local teachers union. Students are in various places in their statewide assessments currently, and teachers are working hard to encourage and support them as they move through the various contents and portions of those tests. Outside of testing, teachers are working hard to keep students engaged and motivated as they see and feel spring's arrival. At this point in the year, teachers have much content yet to cover, and students have many skills yet to master. So that's one of our biggest challenges right now, getting students to realize that it's not quite summer yet. Teachers are also getting ready for their end-of-year evaluations with their administrators, as well as the various practices that educators employ to reflect on their year as a whole. Reflection is a big part of what we do, as we are always trying to grow and improve. And that is all from us for now. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Classified staff, I'm assuming no reported in this month. Consent agenda. I'll move for,
So move we approve the consent agenda.
for a second. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Action items, PGE DSG agreement addendum. Yeah.
Greetings, I have a couple things for you this evening. First is an agreement that we have with Portland General Electric. If you recall, when we built this fine high school, it included a backup generator the size of a freight car up there. Shortly after completing the generator installation, PG approached us about entering into a dispatchable standby generation agreement, a DSG agreement with them. Essentially, it's a fantastic arrangement for the school district because PGE at their expense fuels it, maintains it, and tests it under load, which is really important monthly. So the district is free from all the oversight of the machine. It just goes on when we need it. That's worked out fine. It's helped the community as well because PG dispatches that electric service back in the community at peak times. That said, the state of Oregon has passed additional environmental rules regarding the particular output of diesel plants, which DJ could probably appreciate. And we are currently at the point where our generator will not meet the current emission standards, which will either result in fines for us if we run it or just complete shutdown. PG again has stepped in because they're interested in it and said that they will indeed, at their expense, install the after equipment to bring the emissions up to standard, which is no small thing. The equipment is large, the installation process is significant. So nonetheless, they are willing to do that. However, from their perspective, understanding that under this current arrangement, the district can in very short notice say, hey, we're done with you, we're out. They don't want to be out that investment that they are willing to put in to bring that machine up to standards for emissions. So that said, they're asking for an addendum to the existing agreement, which simply acknowledges that they're putting the equipment in there. It acknowledges that they own the equipment until the completion of this amortization period. And for the next 5 years, they're seeking a commitment from us that should we unilaterally exit the agreement, that we would be on the hook for the prorated amount of that investment over the next 5 years. Because the value of that is about $300,000, or because we don't make commitments to that level without your approval. So that said, it is only contingent on our unilateral exit. We would not be on the hook if they decided to exit. It's their equipment. They'd be on the hook. They would probably just keep the equipment. So it's really a pretty safe arrangement. We have zero intention of exiting the agreement in the next 5 years. It works very well for us. It saves us a lot of maintenance money to have this equipment assuredly useful when we need it. So that said, I'm asking the board's approval to enter into the DSG agreement.
They ask it's ready for runtime or same runtime as before. We guaranteed X amount of hours a year. Everything's the same.
Yeah, there's no adjustment to the master agreement with regard to the utilization of the equipment. It's merely addressing this ancillary equipment installation.
Any questions for Tim?
PG, appreciate it.
Moving on to supplemental transportation plan, Tim.
So, earlier this year, we had a on-site review from the Oregon Department of Education of our transportation operations. So there's a plethora of compliance elements that we need to jump through to be in concert with the Oregon Department of Education's transportation department. One of the things that they noted in the process is there's something called a supplemental plan. Under Oregon statutes and the school support funding mechanism, the state only reimburses the district for transportation miles outside of a certain radius. Specifically for a K-8, they do not reimburse for transportation that we provide within a mile of the school. And for high school, it's within a mile and a half of the school. So that said, there's an exception. The exception is that the district has a supplemental plan on file with the state that outlines according to exception rules, which is predominantly driven by safety standards. You know, there's not a sufficient shoulder on the road for students to stand. There's not a sufficient shoulder on the road for students to walk. There's not a sufficient crossing on it's too close to a major highway. So if you articulate these conditions and then outline what roads are therefore included in your supplemental plan, you can transport on those roads. It will be reimbursable. So that said, what happened is that when the Oregon Trail School District came into existence a multitude of years ago, all the individual districts feeding into us had some form of a supplemental plan. But the formatting was all over the place. The vernacular was all over the place. It was very inconsistent. And so they're simply looking for, hey, can you put together a supplemental plan that's cohesive under the umbrella of Oregon Trail School District, and therefore give them all these plans for the predecessor districts. And so that's what we've done in the document that I provided to you. And it's pretty simple so far as it's in the form of a resolution. It outlines the safety conditions that we're concerned with. We don't have to say, which of these conditions applies to exact which road. That would be it. There's a lot of roads. So that said, we've cited the specific conditions, and then I provided you a map by each school campus, and then shows a 1 mile radius for K-8 and 1.5 mile radius for the high school. And then within that radius, it shows which roads that we are saying, based on these conditions, we are including in our supplemental plan to allow reimbursable transportation. You'll notice in a couple of the elementary schools, you said, well, but he didn't highlight certain roads in there. It's not that those roads aren't roads that we transport on. It's that sometimes within a mile radius of a school, there's another school boundary included in there. So that other school boundaries portion is outside a mile from that school, and it's included. It's not part of the issue. So we're only including the issues that are within a mile roads that serve that school. So again, that's why you'll see some roads that are not highlighted. So I think it's a pretty simplistic approach. Once you answer questions you have and come to conclusion on this, then I will file this with the Oregon Department of Education, transportation folks, and they'll have our record. Everybody happy. Make sense? Okay. Any questions?
No questions, I'll entertain a motion.
So we approve the transportation supplemental plans. Okay.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Jim.
So as a matter of administering this, if you recall, we switched to a program this year where parents can go online and check school routes and see what. So now that we have this plan, they'll be able to go in a more granular fashion. If a parent attempts to sign up for transportation, and it truly is one of the areas that's outside, it's a walking area, it's not within our supplemental plan. Only those will show up as no transportation walking zone. All these other supplemental areas, which currently some of them said no transportation, even though we've got it valid. We should be able to clean that up now. Thank you.
Thank you. Information and discussion items, work and health representatives.
Yeah, so I'd like to welcome Orion and Dr. Marty, who represent Orchid Health. As you all know, we have a school-based health center. We had a long-standing contract with Clackamas County. And as you know, as far as counties go, I think Clackamas County did real well for some time. And then they just lost a lot of steam towards the end. They opened up their own clinic. They weren't able to fulfill some of the basic obligations of the contract. Students couldn't receive services every day of the week. There wasn't a licensed provider available. And so I think it was mutual that Clackamas County needed to put its resources elsewhere, and we wanted to look for a provider that could provide services for our county, our school-based health center to our community to a greater extent. Clackamas County was a federally qualified FQHC, a federally qualified health center, so they had some different restraints on how they receive monies, how they spend those types of things. Orchid is different in their funding stream is different. They operate on many different parameters than the county did, so I think less restrictions gives us more opportunity to provide greater service community-wide. They'll have an opportunity to provide some ancillary services throughout the school district at large to kids and parents eventually. And so we believe this is a great opportunity for us. They already serve the Estacada community. And so we think that they've set a shining example with their clinic there, and we know they're going to do the same for us. And so we wanted to invite Marty and Orion to talk about what they do. The tenets of the contract, the Clackamas County, the service provisions are all identical. There's really zero cost to the school district. This is all a healthcare provider having an opportunity to use our facility to provide those services at large. So we're very excited to have them. Sorry, did I say too much? Okay.
Thank you, Aaron. Good evening. My name is Orion Falvey. I'm Orchid's co-founder and executive director. So I co-founded Orchid about 9 years ago based on the mission of bringing quality healthcare to rural communities. I grew up in a small town in Alaska. I lived in Oregon for about 10 years and had the privilege of growing an organization from scratch to now 4 clinics in rural communities across Oregon. I'm joined by Dr. Marty Graspiner, our medical director, and for additional team members, Johnny is our marketing manager, and Jennifer's our operations director, Missy's our clinic manager, and Candace is a nurse practitioner. So we are here today to share a bit about who we are. We're going to be really excited for this opportunity to step into the role as medical sponsor for the School-Based Health Center, and also give a quick refresh on what a School-Based Health Center is and what we feel the potential is to really invest in your school-based health center to make it a thriving place for students and their families and staff and faculty in the district. Like I mentioned, we were founded in 2014. I believe families in rural communities deserve a fair and just opportunity of a healthy life, equal to or better than people in cities. And the data shows that that's not the case. There are discrepancies based on zip code and rural versus urban. And so we are a small but mighty team. We're 65 team members now, determined to turn that data around and really show that a small community can have really quality healthcare that's also personal and builds up relationships. We opened our first school-based clinic in 2016 in Estacada, like Aaron mentioned. And that was our second clinic overall. Our first clinic opened in Oak Ridge, which is in Lane County, a very under-resourced community. And so when we were looking at opening a community clinic in Estacada, the school district reached out to us and said, we have a pretty much brand new school-based health center that Legacy Health was the medical sponsor for, and they cut back hours, they rotated providers through, and they ended up just canceling their contract with the Estacada School District. So we thought it was a great opportunity to learn what it means to be a school-based health center and step into that role in Estacada. We're proud that we were awarded the School-Based Health Center of the Year, our second year in operations in Estacada, out of 80 some school-based health clinics in Oregon. And that's based on the students' experience that they survey our students on an iPad, and also based on our quality outcomes that they we are unique, like Aaron mentioned. We are not a federally qualified health center. We're an independent rural health clinic organization, which really allows us to focus on our communities and on our clinics. We don't have a huge administrative overhead. We're not attached to a hospital. Our focus is really rural integrated school-based healthcare, and I think you're going to find that that specific focus will make us. This isn't an afterthought, like at some larger health systems. A school-based clinic is something they have aspirations to offer, but it's really not their top. For us, our clinics are our company, and we're really excited to see here fit clinic location. Our primary focus is supporting healthy students, and we're proud of the outcomes in Estacada. We're excited about partnering with the school to achieve similar outcomes here in San Diego. And a couple of those outcomes that we wanted to highlight are we pride ourselves in our availability, accessibility. We're there 5 days a week. We have an incredible provider team. Kansas is one of them who are very committed to school-based health services. So our walk-in availability, zero cost for students policy, even if they have a $20 copay, we waive the copay just because we don't want to bill to get set goal and maybe a conversation with services. So for students, just waive all costs. We do bill insurance, and part of what has led to Orchid's success is our success negotiating with the top insurance companies in the state, including Medicaid insurance companies, and showing them the data that after 8 or 9 years now, we've shown we've kept their members out of the hospital, out of the ED, and saved them money costs. We've been able to negotiate to get them to pay us some of those cost savings. So really what we do on the back end is we've been able to align how we get paid with health outcomes versus sick care. Like a lot of clinics. Right ahead of that assembly line, 15 minutes, not a lot of time to ask questions like your doctor. We spend an hour with patients. Make sure they don't ask questions. Pretty awesome to see this data about in Estacada. We've served 400 of the 472 high school students. And that's a testament to our team, from SD, our medical assistants, our behavioral health clinicians, really prioritizing creating a trusting place for students. It's a much smaller district than Estacada, but our culture and the people that we brought on board bring the same commitment to quality of care and relationships. We've served over 1,000 patients overall, age 5 to 21, in their first 3 years. And 81% of our patients aged 3 to 6 receive their annual well child visit with Orchid. And so just over 50% of adolescents receive a missed well check. Definitely focus on preventative care, but we're also there for things like acute injuries. And also our model of integrated behavioral health. So there's rising need for behavioral health services in our communities and in our student populations, and we have built out a model of integrated behavioral health that really tries to break down barriers and stigma around getting medical support. That's been successful in Estacada. We served over 100 students with behavioral health services.
My name is Marty Gressner. I'm a pediatrician by training. They call me Dr. Marty since I've been with Orchid. I've been with Orchid for 2 years now. I've done a lot of other things and worked in a lot of other systems, and I love working for Orchid. It's been such a refreshing change in my career. My prior job, I was the medical director for all the county clinics in Multnomah County, and coming to Orchid, there's so much more flexibility and so much more patient-centered. At least I feel like patient-centered care that we do, that it's been a really great change for me, and it's a privilege to be here tonight, to be here standing next to Ryan, who's kind of helped the founder. So thanks so much for giving us a chance to talk tonight. In prioritizing our school partnership, we're really committed to we've spent a lot of time already with Aaron just talking about what your district needs are here, what the student needs are, what kind of access the students have to the clinic, how visible the clinic is to the students and to the faculty, whether people think about, this is your medical home that's attached to, it's part of the school building here, and that's what we'd like to be. We, as a company, really focus on what we call the medical home, which is when you come to us as a patient, we try to wrap all of our services around you so that we can give you all of your primary care, all of your preventive care. We have you have a PCP that's assigned to you, which is your primary care provider, and we have at Estacada, and we're kind of I'm getting ahead of myself, but you have a PCP who's assigned to you, which is generally either a nurse practitioner, a physician assistant, or in some cases me. I'm the only doctor right now that's working in the Estacada and in the northern part of Orchids area. But you have a PCP, but you also have a community health worker who can work with you. You have a behavioral health provider who is your behavioral health provider if you have any issues or needs. We have a nurse at Estacada who's going to probably be quite active in terms of just helping to work with our patients here at Sandy. And so it's this whole team that's kind of assigned to each of the individual students that come. So it's really team-based care, and it's really patient-centered care. We try to, as Ryan said, the initial visit is an hour, so we try to figure out what all your needs are as a patient, and we try to figure out how we can best provide all the support care all the support that we can to you. And at the other schools, we do a lot of services. We do life checks, vaccines, we do lots of sports physicals. We're hoping to do some sports physicals if you guys choose to have us as your sponsor. Starting in August, we work at SDK. We work pretty closely with the trainers and with the athletics people from the teams, which I think is a big opportunity for us to kind of get, again, kind of wraparound care for the students. We do some CDL exams, some other testing, but so we have a pretty broad base of services that we offer to our students. And for an outcome, in our first 3 full years of partnership, we provide all the above listed services. We're working closely with the district superintendent at Estacada, director of student services, and individual school staff members. And that's kind of the relationship that we hope to have with the school district here. And this is just a little bit of information about the school-based center health programs. It's a statewide program. We're designated by the Oregon Health Authority to be a school-based center. It helps us with some funding, and it helps us with how we get reimbursed, but it lets us provide access to our students for giving them really great primary health care. And with us as your medical sponsor, again, like Ryan said, we're not like a big organization that's got lots of hospitals and other things going on. We have clinics, and the clinics are kind of self-contained and are really aimed towards providing really great care just to the students we have. And we're hoping with Sandy is to have kind of a partnership with the Estacada Clinic too, because we have 4 really terrific providers in addition to myself at Estacada that we can use as kind of support for Sandy, so that it can be kind of a team between Sandy School District and our Estacada Clinic that we run down there. So again, we'd like to be medical home for the Sandy students. And I really appreciate y'all giving us the time to talk to you and get to know you and introduce yourselves and introduce ourselves and what we're about.
Any questions for us?
Don't run it off. All right.
No, run it off.
Yeah. Questions? Okay, Estacada is part of a smaller school district than ours. And staffing in the school seems to be a problem. How do you get staffing? And how do you train them to be the thought processes that you just conveyed here in this meeting? And where do you get that time? I mean, how many hours a day would this clinic be open?
We steal the best staff from other organizations. We prioritize creating an amazing workplace and taking care of the athletic care. We offer really competitive wages that, like I've already mentioned, a flexible work environment. We are on very solid financial ground. We've created a name for ourselves to the point where every month or 2, small group, mostly smaller than Sandy, are reaching out to us asking if we open a clinic in their community. So we consider this opportunity pretty diligently, and before we say yes there. like with its location in Cicada and the opportunity to be this district. Health center there, that's turnkey, it's a good opportunity for us to say yes to. It's part two training.
Yeah, I mean, what you say is good, but you've got only so many hours in a day. So how do you convey that?
I can speak to that.
Okay,
I mean, it's probably better it comes from me anyway, since I do work there as a provider. So my name's Candace. I'm a nurse practitioner at Estacada. My daughter actually goes to school here and she was on the marketing team, or the, AgCom team. Yeah, so thank you for the shout out, I appreciate it. So as somebody who's worked for two large organizations, I can tell you that the shift from almost everything from the ground up is completely different with Orchid. I've been able to recruit 2 providers myself to our organization who are incredible people to begin with, but also they feel the same. So I don't think staffing this is going to be an issue at all. I think you're going to have people that are, we're going to have several qualified people coming from, probably even traveling from farther away to try to work for an organization that supports their employees as this company does. So I don't think it's a problem.
Good answers. That's an issue. My next question, I'm sorry, but is, students come in, they have an issue, and I'm no doctor, so whatever, they have an issue that's going to require more extensive work or maybe testing or whatever. How do you refer? What's your relationship with other people when it comes to referrals and getting them to a specialist or whatever needs to be done?
We're actually, I think, really good at that. Our providers at Estacada are very familiar with all the referral resources that are available in the Portland area, and likewise at the Lane County clinics, they know all the referral sources to use in the Eugene area, which is kind of where we refer to. We offer internally something called Up to Date, which is a database. It's just phenomenal. It's a great way to access kind of the current state of the art medical practice. But we also have really great referral specialists that our providers work really closely with that are very well acquainted with all the different resources around the Portland metro area, the Gresham area, the more rural towns. They're really good at knowing who's taking patients, who's good at what they do, and kind of guiding the patients in those directions. So you're right, we certainly can't do everything, but we're good at referring, and we're good at, I think, figuring out what appropriate referrals are for our patients, where to send them.
We've also partnered with Kaiser Permanente, so we not only accept Kaiser Health Insurance, and we missed some of our speaking points, some important ones. We will serve students, their families, and the school district faculty and staff to start. Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 to start out, with a plan to add students. And we're excited that we are contracted with Kaiser. So staff that would have Kaiser insurance come in as a network providers. And we also have launched a telespecialty care partnership with Kaiser. So their specialists, a patient can come into one of Orchid's clinics and get on the phone with a Kaiser specialist.
We have cardiology, nephrology, internal medicine, which we won't be using too much from here, at least for the school students, and neurology. We're Kaiser specialists that we can refer our Orchid patients, even if they're not Kaiser, for specialty care.
One final question. We have students here that want to go into the medical field. Is there any opportunities for them to work with your staff and work alongside in any form or fashion for education purposes? And I know that privacy would be a part of it.
But we're not doing that yet, but we would love to do that. Having Candace is from Estacada, having homegrown providers. We have a provider at Oak Ridge who grew up in Oak Ridge, is from Oak Ridge, having homegrown medical providers, behavioral health providers, nurses, MAs, everybody. We would welcome that. And we've already talked to the principal a little bit about some of the programs that they have at the high school, and we're really hoping to partner with the high school to to promote healthcare. I'd like to see lots of nurse practitioners and physician assistants and physicians and nurses coming out of our field, because there's a huge need, especially in rural healthcare. Your question about how we get people in it's a big one. It's a big challenge to staff these clinics, but we've been successful so far.
I'll just add that too. One thing we have to investigate is we've partnered to go in for career day and to do kindergarten, field trips and all sorts of things. So other ways that we can connect with students to let them know more about the medical field and what it's all about and what opportunities might be out there. So I think that's something that's replicated here too.
Our plans to win the school-based clinic of the year for St. It's gonna be the first or the second year, but.
The bar's here.
Any other questions for the board?
I would just like to add, one of the big gaps that we saw with the county was that there's no real clean way to say it. If we had a kid that, let's just say, had a seizure right outside the school-based health center doors and was in the hallway outside the upper gym, they just wouldn't come and help provide services for that student. So one of the things that was clear to us with this group was that, well, yeah, if you got an issue, that's what we're here for. So we'll come out, we'll provide services, we'll do some triage and say, should you send this kid an ambulance? No, we did take it over to the school-based health center, et cetera. So that was a huge gap for us. And it was, to say that it was a bit disappointing would be an understatement, I think. But that was a huge gap for us. And the other thing was really that connectivity. DJ, you talk about the referral process. And so when they do have this connection to Kaiser, it's really easy to make those referrals straight away, especially if you have that provider that can come into your space remotely. It's a real slick process. And then again, the success they've had at Estacada for us was, those were three big sticking points that we had with the county. So
I would also add, we did open a second school-based clinic at the Burn Ridge School District, which is in Benita and Elmira in Lane County. It's the coast refugee. This would be our third out of our 4 sites.
Any other questions? Appreciate the presentation. Look forward to working with you.
thank you, John.
On to announcements. May 18th is a board workshop at 6:30. June 4th is an OTA board meeting, and June 12th is a retirement celebration at 6:15, and then school board meeting to follow. Just a reminder, ballots are due a week from tomorrow, May 16th, so make sure you get your ballot mailed in or dropped off. And there's some on the back. June 16th, senior graduation, 7 p.m. at Rolling Hills Community Church. June 26th at the year-end board meeting here at 7. We have any questions for the The meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for coming.